because we are very sometimes quick to say, yeah, I got it, I know I'm the self, the self, and all this type of thing. But yet, a little thing goes off, and then we are back in personhood again. We're all one, and then somehow somebody did not send you the money that they owe you, and then suddenly we are not one anymore at all, we are two, and all this kind of stuff, you see. So life will keep testing to see how deeply has this understanding really merged inside your consciousness, you see. So you gave me a beautiful example that if I were to use this metaphor that I'm surfing, and I first fell off a few times off my board, and I'm getting better. Yes, I got good instructor now, and I'm going through the waves. They're twirling around, going through. Wow, I'm feeling very much like champion surfer, going through, feeling very, very content with myself, and then you're off the board, flying, end up in hospital, concussed. Okay, and then maybe it's a time for some humility will come to that one. Why for this one? Because the identity is there. If the identity is not there, then flip, fall, crash, and still that is seen, and a lesson is seen inside that, but the pure awareness remains untouched. Can you find a space in you where all this play is going on, including now the fact that the inmost self is not a surfer? The idea we have of ourselves was surfing, getting better, and so on. So is itself a visible, tangible scenario playing in this field of the mind awareness, mind consciousness like that. Does it make sense at all? This is what happens as you sit more with it. You see, it's as though this more tangible version of yourself is merging, becoming so subtle, so subtle. Pure awareness is there. It's almost as though the person is being replaced by a field of intelligent, invisible awareness. And that's not an object. I'm using words that may sound like that, but it is not a person. It does not. It knows what person feel like. It has had that experience. But now identity and the reflex to keep tripping back into identity, all that is seen, and the place that I'm pointing to, that supreme place in yourself, remains unalterable. That is where your attention is growing back towards. Not the storyteller, you see. Even the experiencer, who itself was a form, is perceived in the greater formless awareness itself. This is a gradual maturing somehow. Because you will still have the sense, you still have a body, you'll still be, a mom to your children, a wife to your husband, a friend to your workmates. All this play is still there. They're not just immediately erased or something like that. And they need not be necessarily. But a deeper truth, a greater understanding, you see, they're rooted in that deeper field, you see. So the life presently is taken to be so consequential. Every little thing you think matters and does and has some consequence. But as you mature in the deep seeing, that life becomes more superficial, more playful, not so intense, you see. So it's not that we are cursing life and say, oh, now it's all a dream and so on. No, in fact, The dream has become something more real because you are the real, in fact, but not in the way that the old identity was reading and interpreting it. The whole identity becomes more of an apparition, like a sort of an imagined self, you see, in the greater space. Have I gone too far to speak like this with you? So this is what is initially, of course, we may have the feeling, okay, we did this exercise, now I see that I am the self. Yeah, I'm the isness. Oh, wow, I'm the isness, you see. But yes and no. Yes and no. The seeing is there, the experience is confirming, and it is true, but the habit and the momentum of habit that has been collected over so many years and lifetime is it's still fighting for some attention. It's now going to be fighting for survival in some way. It has no natural chance to win over you. But if you entertain feelings of doubt or you have a lot of investment in phenomenality, do you understand when I speak like that? If you have a lot of investment in what kind of thing you want to do in the world and you want to be the best at this and you want to be recognized, these things will create a lot of noise, and the attention will go to feed this noise. But you have had this taste. It's more than a glimpse what has happened in you. It's more than glimpse. So something, you cannot put words to it. And if you're not able to put words to it over the next 6 months, it's quite fine. You don't have to write a thesis about it, okay? Just be with it. And, of course, something wants to try and tell someone as you feel you're expanding in understanding. You want to share with your friends, sometimes just to show them that you're more spiritual or something. No? And then they will just say, well, you need to go and see a shrink or something. You're all messed up. You will not get the results you want because something just says, keep quiet and just continue. This is your private joy. You stay with this and mature and grow in it. That's it. That is. You see. Just like you don't plant a tree today and you get fruit tomorrow. So something must take care of this. By taking care, I simply mean that you put your attention just to be with this. And you'll see that just by keeping quiet, something moves deeper in you. And it's manifesting something. This nurturing is going on. And you become much more sensitized, more sensitive. Because life, God, is going to be giving little clues. And you must become sensitive enough to find them. You don't have to go searching too much. They're right where you are. And the more you become sensitized enough to say, wow, it is. And so much illumination, so much joy comes, you become better at it. It is really training your intuitive faculties to expand and to grow. I call this learning the alphabet of God. You're learning the language of the Spirit. You see, more and more you're able to understand things which are not so clear on the surface, on the superficial play. This is a great, 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 great field of experiencing. It is the deepening of this divine romance in you see. And it belongs to everyone. Everyone. It's like I say this morning, winning yourself back from states of delusions and fears and projections, coming back into the natural clarity of being. It will come. So yes, of course, in the beginning, you might get knocked around because one of the things that must not develop in you is arrogance, you see. And sometimes something wants to show itself like it's a specialist or something. Oh yes, I am more empty than you. you know, this kind of stuff. And so, life gives you a chop here, and like this, you see. I am the greatest nobody that exists. Okay? We are like this. It can be as silly as that, and taken deeply seriously, you see, because the competitive ways of the ego doesn't die so quickly. But you hold on to this because this is the most valuable discovery. It's already happening. Don't be in such a hurry, but be earnest in your urge. You say, yes, yes. That you give value to this is already something powerful. Because what you give value to, that will, you will endorse energy, you will put energy there, and it will grow vigorously in you. But the more we indulge states of egohood or personality, personhood, the more you keep swinging around, knocking from door to door. But here, something's just deepening. You can't speak about it. It's like you can't speak. You can speak about regular things, a glass of water, these things, trees. Yeah. But this, you cannot speak about it. To speak about it is not. It's not like a great attribute to speak about it. You see, it's okay if you can't speak about it. Some great sages couldn't speak. I can't speak about it. There's no book written about it. You are the book of it. We can write book about the different states of consciousness and mind and all these things. But about the quintessential awareness, consciousness, there is no story in it. Now the mind says, no story. What value then? What's the value? It must have some quality that we can compare. No, it's beyond quality. So if any of you feel this deeply, I'll give you some time to take it inside more, and you begin to feel that actually that's awakening consciousness, the presence of God, the sense of conscious presence expanding inside you. Then you may come and spend a bit of time with us and be in that environment, which is a concentrated environment of looking, so that indeed you will come to that stage beyond which you cannot go back. To go back to what? To go back. Foolishness, things. You are that flower, your heart is that flower that won't wither, it will not dry up. This is why I asked you this morning, can it fade? And I asked you this afternoon, has it faded? And you say what? No, I'm not fade. What about tomorrow? We will see. What can give the sense of fading is when the attention jumps back into the old regime of identity and humdrum. Then you say, oh no, it's gone. Where exactly has it gone? Where can it go? Where can the infinite go? And some people will sometimes feel the infinite is everywhere except in me. That is ignorance and arrogance. So the place of the one who is measuring themselves and saying, I really got a glimpse. What does it mean, a glimpse? an object in front of the lens of perception, or are you behind the lens of perceiving? Or both? Or both and beyond? Reflect a moment on it. I was saying that, are you merely an object in front of the lens of perception, or are you behind the lens of perception? Because I say this because one time I was asking someone, who is looking out from behind those eyes? Who looks out? Who is looking out? And this man, he said, conditioning is looking out. I was very pleased that it says conditioning is looking out, meaning the one who judges and things is what I've learned. And I said, but what observes conditioning looking out? Then he smiled. He says, I can't speak about it. When you have come to that place of seeing, it is as though you're looking out from this immensity, because you have not limited yourself merely to the form of the body. And I ask you, is it imagination? You see? If identity is not stuck inside you, in which case now you begin to see, wait a second, there's a kind of stuckness that's watching. That which is watching stuckness, is that stuck? Then, you see, from habit, you may place yourself in the place of your feelings. The feeling is coming, an image is coming, oh, you're so stuck, you don't know what you're doing. And I said, but what is aware of that? Is that stuck? Is that confused? And everything. The invitation itself has been introduced in some prisons around the world, and with such marvelous results. Where some people who have been in prison now, they say, oh my God, I'm learning to observe. So I wish I knew this, I was aware of this. The capacity, the potential to observe, always there. But the knowledge to observe was not shown, you see. Now we're looking, and these people, many of them, they are prime candidates for freedom, actually. What else you got going on right now? So they look and see, and are internally more free than many people walking free on the street. Not clinging to identity, cultured identity, see? Seeing from deeper. Not being cynical about your traditions and so on, but seeing from a deeper place. Where is this deeper place? So are my words reaching that deeper place? So that it's not merely a person-to-person conversation, but more consciousness is speaking with consciousness about consciousness. So it's not about what you're going to do tomorrow and did you pay. No, it's much more pure. You know? And as you listen, and it corresponds internally with you, you'll find naturally that the consciousness field is rising into higher altitudes, higher regions of consciousness. And each is like a step. Each step is like a platform where the entire field is working in a higher expressions of consciousness, more subtle. All these things, they are in you. I hope somehow that as you follow the very simple advice to stay, you'll begin to see the fruits that come off the tree of consciousness that you are. We have a saying that we like to taste the honey, we don't want to be the honey. This is our tendency and temperament. We want to taste, we don't want to be the honey, we love tasting the honey. But here, you taste the honey, and you are the honey. Is it for pleasure, pleasure, pleasure? No. Don't become pleasure junkie. To be free from the binding grips of the egoic identity. It has already begun. See, it's very unlikely that your mind will trouble you when you're in this altitude of consciousness.